So the only thing I would say, because your setup, your backswing, your downswing all look pretty good, is what's called setting your wrists. So if you look at this point in your swing, where your arm is like parallel to the ground, it looks like the club is essentially pointed like right at the camera. This is easier to see from the front, but here, let me show you some professionals. So here is Justin Rose. Let me put you in around the same place. There's that arms parallel position. So let me show you him at arms parallel. There, you see that? You see how his arm and the club kind of make like almost like a 90-degree angle? Like yours is harder to see from this angle. It'd be easier to set up the camera from the front. But yours would probably be something more like that, where the club is way behind. Not every player is exactly 90. Like let me pull up. Here's Colin Morikawa. You'll see at that same point, arm parallel to the ground. You know, there's a bit of an angle, but it's still much closer to 90 than yours is. And it's important to note that that bending of the wrist, it's called setting your wrist, or wrist set. And you can look up drills for this kind of thing. But the wrists aren't super set at this point in the swing when the club is parallel to the ground. There's a little bit of it, but it really happens kind of more like after that, on the way up and then at the top of the backswing. Because if you do it too early, you might have a swing that's like too like narrow. Let me try to draw like an arrow, like that versus a more wide kind of swing. So you don't want to be too flippy too early. And in general, being too flippy is a bad thing, but I think your swing needs to feel a little more flippy, a little more like loose wrists. A lot of the speed is going to come from that cranking and then releasing of the wrists. I think you'll be hitting it, you'll get a lot more club speed and hitting it further. Like I said, you can overdo it and be too flippy, but I think you have the opposite problem, so I wouldn't worry about that. But I would film yourself from the front and see if at this point, when your arm is parallel to the ground, see if you can get the club a little more vertical. It doesn't have to be totally 90 degrees, but definitely a little more than what you have.